God wants you to win. He wants you to succeed in every single area of your life. In fact, he wants you to finish this year strong and set yourself up for momentum in next year. And that is why today we're going to be diving into how to finish 2024 strong and build momentum for 2025 without compromising our time with our family. What's up, guys? It is your host, Cody Cottle, and we are back with another episode of The Christian Entrepreneur. You know, for the first time since I started this podcast, we did not post an episode the last couple weeks. And the reason why is my wife and I have been traveling all around the world. We made our way through the United States. The last episode I uploaded, if you go back, I believe was in Kansas City. Well, let me tell you what took place from there, just to bring you up to speed. We went from Kansas City to Indianapolis. We spent some time with my wife's sister and brother-in-law. He's a pastor over there. It was an incredible time that we had with their family. And then we made our way up into the east side of Michigan, Troy, Michigan, spent some time with my wife's brother and sister-in-law, and it was really good getting to spend time with their family. We love them so much. And then my family is on the other side of Michigan, and we did an early Thanksgiving over with my family, met my new nephew, got to hold him for the first time. What an incredible moment, right? Being an uncle or an aunt. I know some of you can resonate with this. We haven't had kids of our own yet, but just getting to hold this incredible baby that is my nephew and meet him for the first time. So shout out to baby Blake. You were going to be a champion. You were going to be a king, and I just see such a destiny on your life. So Autumn, if you're listening, I know you listen to the podcast, my sister. I love you so much. I'm so grateful for you and mom and dad, and such a good time getting to spend some time with you guys. You know, family's important. Part of the theme in this podcast, you know, we are the Christian Entrepreneur Podcast, and I'm going to show you guys how to finish this year strong, some of the things that I do, and how to set yourself up for momentum in 2025, but also how to not have to compromise and buy in to this hustle culture in the process of doing that. I want to tell you right now, you do not have to sacrifice time with your family to be successful. There are seasons and sprints we have to go through and good communication we have to have with our family, but do not buy into the lie that some of these people are speaking, even Alex Hermosi and others, that you need to work every weekend of your life to get ahead. I do not buy into any of that. And the closer I've gotten with God and the more successful I've gotten, I've actually found that's a fallacy and that's a lie. And I'll tell you why right now. I was going to leave this till later in the podcast, but I feel the Holy Spirit moving right now. How many of you know that if Satan can't get you to sin, which separates you from God, he'll keep you so busy that you don't spend time with him? And that is another tactic of the enemy to separate us from our relationship with God, to separate us from our relationship with our wives or our husbands and our children, because the way that God designed life was for relationship. It's for intimacy. It's the very purpose, the foundation of why we exist in the first place. God wanted intimacy and relationship with us. God knew it wasn't good for man to be alone, so he gave him a wife, which created a family, and that is a man's first priority, second to his relationship with God. Now, y'all got me going. This episode's going to be fire. I can already find out, but let me finish the journey because it gets interesting. So we flew out of Michigan. I can't even remember the day now. We've been traveling for so long, guys. Like, we've been traveling for 6 weeks. Packed our stuff up in a storage unit in San Diego. It's been the most incredible experience with my wife. It's also been challenging, but it's been amazing. And we flew to Lisbon, Portugal. Y'all, let me tell you, you gotta go to Portugal. We loved Lisbon. We kind of transitioned ourselves in. We had a hotel there. We were there for 5 nights. And it was amazing. The people were incredible. They were friendly. They worked with us in our English. And we got to experience European culture for the first time. I've never been to Europe. My wife's never been here. She's been to other parts of the world. And it was so cool to see these old castles and walk around this old palace and learn the history of Portugal, eat the food. It was so good. They have these pastries. I can't remember what it is. My wife's good at remembering all that stuff, but it was so good. You got to try it. If you look up like known pastry in Portugal, you'll see it's so good. It's got like this custard filling. It was amazing. I think we have it on our Instagram if you want to go see. My wife made a reel about it. It was that good. And from Portugal, we flew to Spain. And we were just outside of Barcelona. So we wanted to go to Barcelona, and we wanted to see the La Sagrada Familia. I always butcher it. Some of y'all are listening to this, and you know what it's called. But it is the most amazing cathedral in the world. There's a guy named Antoni Gaudi, and he was probably the most famous architect that's ever lived. And this cathedral has been under construction for 142 years. It's set to be done in 2034. In another 10 years, they still haven't completed it. And it's all about the life of Jesus Christ, the birth, the death, and the resurrection, the way that they designed it. It was the most insane architecture we've ever seen in our entire life. And Gaudi's architecture is all over Barcelona. And we got to explore and we got to see that. But I think the real treasure of Spain for us was actually where we stayed in a town called Sitges. And it is about 25, 30 minutes, I think, south of Barcelona on the coast, on the water. It was the most incredible, just like you'd imagine, almost like fairy tale village, Spanish village on the sea. And we stayed there, and it was every day just walking around in Europe. One thing I've learned in Europe that they have that we don't have in America is they have a culture that emphasizes something called third places. And let me explain. So we have our home. That's a place we spend a lot of our time. And we have our workplace, a place that we spend a lot of our time. But in Europe, they have third places. Their culture is designed to get you out of your home and out of your workplace. And they have all of these markets and all of these streets and all these seats. And people are just always out in Europe. And it's so amazing because it makes you want to just get outside and be around people, even if you're an introvert. The introverts are even outside having a drink or a coffee or a bite to eat, but they're around people and there's kids playing, and it's just so cool. And don't get me wrong, we have third places in America, but it's emphasized in European culture. That's just what they do. I got another theory too, y'all. People say when you come over here that you lose weight because the food's so much better. I do agree the food is better, the ingredients are better, and we are loving it right now because we're in Italy, and I'm going to get to that. But I actually have a theory that the reason you lose weight in European countries, there's not as many obese people, is because the culture here is you walk everywhere. My wife and I walk so much every single day since we've been in Europe because that's the culture. You know, in Sitges, we walked out of our Airbnb. We had this beautiful Airbnb, and we'd walk about 10 minutes down to the main market area and all these different streets. And there's hundreds of restaurants and shops and shopping and things. And you just are walking every single day. I mean, we walk, 10,000 plus steps every single day since we've been in Europe because it's the culture here. And even though we haven't been able to get in the gym as much as we'd like, which we're working on now that we're in Italy for a month, we still feel that we're staying healthy. The food that we eat is good ingredients, the moving around. So I want to encourage you guys, you got to check out Spain. You got to check out the La Sagrada Familia. It's incredible. Gaudi's architecture. And I really emphasize, don't stay in Barcelona. Stay 25 minutes south in Sitges. It is a gem. We did our research, and we probably will go back there. It was so amazing. And then we flew after 7 days in Spain to Italy, and that's where we're at right now. We've been here for a few days, probably like 4 days or so, but we are staying in the most precious hidden gem in Italy, a town called Lucca. Look it up. It is a city surrounded by a wall, and at a time it was a very wealthy city, and it's magical. It's amazing. It's everything you would think Italy is, but we're outside of Rome. We're going to go to Rome. We'll spend time. We'll go to Venice. We'll go to Rome. We'll go to Milan. We'll go to the Amalfi Coast. We'll drive. We have a car to all these amazing places in Italy people talk about, but those are tourist destinations. And Lucca, I guess, is a destination too, but it's more getting to live among Italian people and live with them and experience their culture and eat their food. And we're here for a month, and it's just been amazing. They have this Christmas market. Literally, we have a balcony right here. Outside of it's a Christmas market. And we're just loving the culture here and learning. And it's also been challenging. We live in a location that not many people speak much English. So we're being challenged to learn new languages and, try to get by in society here, being the minority. And it's just been such a cool experience. So I say all that to say, people have messaged me. It's amazing you're doing, traveling. One day I hope I can do that. And I want to encourage you listening to this podcast right now, that God didn't create you to live a small, mediocre, and average life, that God created you with vision and purpose, that God gave you an ability to create and design a life with Him that you enjoy. If you read through Proverbs, Solomon gives so much wisdom, but then you read in Ecclesiastes, it's really interesting to see the contrast after that of how many things were done in vanity, but at the heart of it, he learned that someone that labors for God and enjoys their life, that's the mark. So I want to encourage you guys to enjoy your life. I'm going to talk about vision. I'm going to talk about goals on this podcast, but I'm going to do what most entrepreneurs don't do. And I'm going to tell you that the very purpose of all of this is so we can enjoy the life that God has given us. If we get salvation right, and we give our life to Jesus, and we're going to spend eternity in heaven, there is a time period we're on this earth. Now, there's a purpose. There's a mandate with your life. We should have vision. We should have goals. We should accomplish. We should build. But all of that so we can enjoy the life that God has given us. So if you're listening to this and you've been wanting to take a trip, you've been wanting to go to Europe, I want to encourage you and inspire you that you can do it. Take the trip, go. Stop making excuses. There's never a time in my life that I've ever regretted spending money on travel. Even we've had to figure it out. This trip was a dream. My friends that are listening to this, you guys know Esther and I talked about coming to Europe, and we pushed our date back of leaving 3 times, guys, because we had to strategically figure out how we were going to pull it off financially. Logistically was a big thing with our dog. My mom's watching the dog in Michigan, and with our businesses and our home and our stuff. But we didn't let that stop us from taking action and making it happen. And now we're here living that out. I've always been a man that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. I don't always know how, but I know when I go to God and I partner with God, because God is the CEO of my life and my business, and I'm diligent and I have the tenacity to move forward and solve problems and figure it out, that I always will. There's nothing special about me that's different than you. You have that inside of you. God has placed it in you. If you have kids, don't let them hold you back from not traveling. Bring them with you. Figure it out. If there's a will, there's a way. And travel is one of the things personally that brings me more joy than anything else in my life. I'm so grateful we're on the same page. My wife doesn't want designer bags or super expensive clothes, and I really don't either. We do a lot of our shopping on Amazon now because we don't like going to stores. She's enjoying stores in Europe. She likes stores, but she doesn't need the bougie stuff because we'd rather spend our resources on experience, on travel, on enjoying life. We're foodies. We love good food. Thank God it's good over here and cheap. But anyways, I digress. I hope that encourages you and inspires you to travel. But I want to get into the content that I want to focus on this podcast for you, because we are days away from finishing 2024. And the end of the year and heading into a new year is always a great time to reflect on the year we just had, to learn from our year. What goals did you have this year? What were you able to accomplish? Did you hit your goals? Did you fall short of your goals? Why? Another thing I want to give you, a practice I do every year, I'm going to be doing it while we're here in Italy, is I take a lot of photos and videos, and you guys probably do too. I go back through my photo gallery in my phone to January 1st, and I move through the entire year reflecting on the memories that I've made, the experiences that I've had, things that we even forget that we've done, to remind me of the incredible life that God has given me and all the things we've done and accomplished and experienced in this year alone. Because sometimes we get so focused on the future, we forget the good things that have already happened, which in turn creates gratitude, and gratitude sets a mindset and a state of being to move forward with joy in your life. And then the second thing is vision and goals for where you want to go with your life, what you want to accomplish in 2025. So point number 1 today is vision for our life matters. Without a clear vision, it's easy to drift aimlessly and waste our precious time. Time is finite. It's the one resource you will never get back. And if you show me a man or woman that has vision and purpose for their life and goals and dreams and aspirations, I will show you someone who will make the most of their life. You show me someone that doesn't have vision, goals, or dreams, or passions, or aspirations for their life, I'll show you someone that's aimlessly floating through life, just existing, and they will live with regret because they never did anything great, because they never had a vision for the things they wanted to accomplish. Proverbs 29:18 says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he." I believe God is showing us that we have to have vision for our life. God created man in Genesis in his image, and God's a creator, therefore we are creators. Therefore, God gave us the ability to create, and creation starts up here. It starts with imagination. It starts with vision. There's nothing wrong with being a place in your life where you're not where you want to be, but you have vision for where you're going, because that's where it starts. That's the first step. That's the beginning. So I want to give you some supporting points on this to write down your vision and revisit it regularly to ensure your actions align with it. How do we ensure we don't get off course in our year? By being clear on where we're going. Have clear, defined goals, clear, defined vision for where you're going. So if you need to say, am I spending my time wisely? Go back to the vision. Is the thing you're doing moving you closer to the vision you have for your life or farther away from it? If it's a distraction, if it's moving you away from it, you need to stop doing it and you need to get back on course. A God-honoring vision provides direction and purpose, not just in business, but in your life as a whole, guys. There's a famous quote that vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes time. Vision with action can change the world. Joel A. Barker. How incredible is that? So if you just have vision and goals, if you just write down your goals for 2020, but you don't back it with any action, it's nothing but a dream. And then if you take action, you're a hard worker and you're diligent, but you don't have vision, you're just passing time doing tasks that aren't actually aligning you with where you want to go in your life. But when you have vision and goals and you back it with diligence and action, you can become a world changer. You can build a business that provides for everything that you need. You can take the trips you want to take, live the life you want to live, and make the impact in the world that God has called you to make. So point number 1 is vision for our life matters. Start there. Point number 2 is build your business around your life, not your life around your business. Design a business, guys, that works for you and supports your priorities, including family and faith. I'm really big on this in this season of my life because I think why did we start businesses in the first place? If you're listening to this and you're a Christian entrepreneur, you're a business owner, think about why you started the business in the first place. I would imagine you had dreams, you had goals, you had aspirations, that you wanted time freedom and financial freedom to do what you want, where you want, with who you want. Yet we get into business and we get so caught in our day-to-day operations that we become slaves to our company. And then we start designing and fitting our life in and our time with our family around our business and our work schedule. But I've actually learned to reverse engineer that and to say, no, this is the way I want to live my life. I want to be able to travel to Europe for multiple months with my wife. I want to be able to enjoy this. I don't want to work 100 hours a week. Heck, I don't even want to work 40 hours a week. What do I need to do to design this business in a way around my life that awards me that freedom? If you're listening to this and you don't own a business, but you want more freedom in your life, you're tired of being a slave to your job, you're tired of being a slave to your employer, there's nothing wrong with a good career, but make sure it's in alignment with the vision you have for your life. A business is a great opportunity to award us freedom in our life. It takes hard work, it takes diligence, it takes creativity, it takes time to set it up that way. There's seasons you have to go through it. But I'm just reminded why I got in business. And even the season I'm living in now, traveling in Europe, living in Lisbon and Spain and Italy, it was by design. It didn't happen by accident. There was a lot of intentionality that's got in to get me and my wife here. Bible verse that aligns with this is Proverbs 16:3. It says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. One of the things we teach in the Christian Entrepreneur Club is make God your CEO. Bring your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, your visions to God, and he's going to direct your steps and how to co-create and co-build that with him. I ain't smart enough to figure this out all on my own, but I know in a partnership with God and in who he created me to be, guys, if we be who God has called us to be and we do what God has called us to do, we will have what God wants to bless us with. So some supporting points on this are focus this year, at the end of this year and next year, on the tasks that bring you joy, that generate results, and align with your strengths, and outsource the rest. This is something I'm big on because I've had to learn that I can't do it all. And I've started to learn in my businesses, what do I actually really enjoy doing in my companies? What do I love to wake up and do? What just lights me on fire? What am I really good at, and what generates results for us? What's the thing I can do that I enjoy the most, that I'm really good at, that doesn't require a lot of my time, that produces the most results so I can have the designed life in business that I want to have and live, that brings me joy and fulfillment? This requires creating systems and processes to maximize your efficiency while protecting your time with your family. Guys, I hit on this earlier, but Satan thrives on distraction and busyness. Don't let him pull you away from what truly matters. Psalms 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." You know, if you're living a life right now of pure busyness and pure haste and chaos, it's not the way that God designed you to live your life. You shouldn't be a slave to your company. Your company should be a tool and a resource to build a life that you desire and to make an impact in the world through the products and the services and the clients and the customers that you serve, through the gifts that God has given you. There's a famous quote that says, "It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter." And we've all heard that. But guys, I want to encourage you on this. I'm in a season of my life where in my younger years, I was I'll outwork all of you. And I did, let me tell you. At a young age, I accomplished a lot of things because I worked really hard. But in this season of my life, I've learned that I was ignorant, that I didn't have the wisdom I have now because I hadn't spent the time that I've spent with God, that I've spent now to learn that there is wisdom in how we work smart and what God has called us to do, that award us the ability to not sacrifice or compromise our time with our family. You don't have to sacrifice every inch and moment around the holidays and Christmas and New Year's to make money. You need to set yourself up in a way to be highly productive over the next couple weeks so you can take a few weeks off and really enjoy your time with family and really be reminded why you work so hard, why you started the business, why you build it. Number 3 is momentum is everything in business. End 2024 so intentionally, guys, so you can enter 2025 with purpose and energy. Every year I pick a word and a theme for my life. I haven't picked fully the one for 2025, but several years ago, my word was intentionality. I told myself that my theme for the entire year is I was going to be extremely intentional with everything that I did that year. Proverbs 21:5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty." See, what I've learned is we catch the diligent part of that action, but it says in the beginning, the plans, and plans require intentionality. So we have to be intentional and we have to be diligent to profit in life. But if we move with haste, we don't have vision, we just take action like I shared before, that leads to poverty, that leads to mistakes, that leads to overwork, that leads to hustle culture. Stop listening to guys like Alex Hormozi, even though he has great business content, who doesn't have children and different things that probably align with your values, and say, I got to do everything this guy does, because you're going to end up designing a life where you're a slave to work. And that's not something personally that I want for my life. I want to be highly successful in what God's called me to do, but I want freedom to spend with my family, do the things I love, and enjoy the life God has given me. At the end of my life, I'm not going to say, oh, I wish I worked more. At the end of my life, I'm going to say, man, I wish I spent more time with my family. I wish I took more trips. I wish I did more things that made the world a better place. And I got to be with the people that I love and I care about and make memories. So guys, build habits now that you want to carry into the new year. Habits fuel momentum. So I wanted to hit hard on this because I'm not a believer that we should just take our foot off the gas and just zone out at the end of the year and then pick up and try to get momentum again next year. I'm actually very big and intentional on reviewing my year, understanding what I need to do to finish this year strong and to have momentum going into the new year. Some things for me personally are looking at my systems, my processes. We run paid ads for the Christian Entrepreneur Club, optimizing ads, creating new ads, making sure our funnels are optimized, making sure the growth of our membership is growing, and making sure our private clients and Content Daily, that we've got steady cash flow, those clients are taken care of, and tying up loose ends. We have to finish and close loops on this year and create completion in things we set out to do this year, and then begin momentous things that lead into next year. Personally, I like doing the things and spending my time on that are just I do the work now and it carries and rewards me many times over. And for us, that is setting up a strategy to continue to grow the business we have without me having to work every single day inside of it. So what I'm doing is spending the first 2 weeks of December hyper focused on that and setting that up so I can just enjoy my time with my wife and traveling in Europe, and know going into 2025, we have tremendous momentum for the goals and the vision that we have for our life. There's a famous quote, "What you do today can improve all your tomorrows," by Ralph Marston. Guys, what you do right now, every action as an equal and opposite reaction will create a compound effect in your life. There's a book called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. I read it when I was 17 years old. I read it again when I was 22 years old. And I refer to it now when I'm 30 years old, because I understand that small actions compounded over time create massive results. I no longer am chasing quick success in my life because it's a lie and a fallacy. I'm more understanding the vision I have for my life, the goals that I have for my life, and the small actions that I need to compound over time to get me there. Some of y'all are overestimating what you can do in a year and underestimating what you can do in 10 years. If you play the long game, you'll be so much more successful. You want wealth? Understand you need to build something that creates cash flow. How can you do small efforts in your business or your career to create cash flow? How can you save more money and compound the money that you save so you can invest into cash flowing assets to create financial freedom and get out of the rat race? I'm no longer trying to look at these guys on Instagram and say, how do I be a multimillionaire in real estate tomorrow? It's more understanding, whoa, what could my wife and I do over 10 years? How could we do this in a way where we're not stressed out trying to do too much right now? We're playing a long game of compounding our efforts over time. You can achieve success without neglecting your family or sacrificing your health. Choose to prioritize what matters most to you in your life. Stop comparing yourself to other people on social media. Stop feeling like you're behind in life. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're an accumulation of who God created you to be, and the actions that you've taken on earth and the vision that you have for your life has gotten you to the very moment that you're at right now. If you do not like where you're at, cast bigger vision, dream with God, partner with God, and understand the small steps you need to take to finish this year well and to set yourself up for next year. But don't sacrifice the precious moments you have with your family. This Christmas, these holidays, this New Year's, you're never going to get it back. I know I'm not saying what most people say, because I'm not most people, because I actually go spend my own time with God and live for my own experiences and speak out of that place of wisdom to truly give you something that's not regurgitated from some other guru on the internet. So guys, I want to close this podcast by saying that you can do anything you set your mind to. Partner with God, create vision and dreams and goals. Know where you're going in the next 10 years, reverse engineer it, and understand some things you want to accomplish this next year for your life. I like to have a business category. I like to have a financial category. I like to have a relational category. And I like to have some personal things I'd like to achieve, and health and things fall under that personal category for me. I break it up into 3-4 sections every year. I have a couple goals per section. It keeps me on track. And then inside of my business, we have KPIs and goals as well. I don't try to overreach, I try to understand the compounded effort of those things year over year over year over year. Putting on more muscle mass, getting more lean year over year, how to build our wealth, save more money, build a bigger bank account, how to grow our business, how to have more customers, how to have more clients, and the slow progressive process of that. I actually love it so much. I might be borderline addicted and obsessed with growth, and I think that's a good thing. I think if there's anything you're going to be obsessed with or addicted to, it should be growth. I love slow and steady growth. I love seeing improvements in my life. I love getting smarter. I love learning every year. I love reading new books. I love learning new things. I love growing my companies. I love increasing our revenue. I love serving more people. But I'm not trying to serve 1 million people tomorrow. I'm trying to slowly increase and steward what God's entrusted me with and increase and multiply it and be faithful with it. Because when we be who God's called us to be and we do what God's called us to do, we will have what God has called us to have. So guys, let's finish this year strong, but let's not sacrifice our time with our family. Let's cast vision and goals for next year. And let's make 2025 the best year of our entire life. God bless you guys. Thank you for tuning into this podcast. If you got value from it, some ways that you can help us. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast or the YouTube channel or follow me on, do that. We have the Christian Entrepreneur on YouTube and podcast platforms. If you haven't left us a 5-star review and a written review, it helps us reach more people. If you want to follow me on Instagram with some other content we have, it's I am Cody Cottle. Lastly, if there's someone you know in your life that would get value from this podcast, I want to encourage you and invite you to send it to them. Lastly, I want to let you know the mission that my wife and I are on in this season of our life. We are building the Christian Entrepreneur Club, and the mission of the Christian Entrepreneur Club is to really resource and serve Christian entrepreneurs to build business God's way, to create and steward wealth for the kingdom, and to not be alone in the process. And I'm going to drop some links on this episode that you guys can click to join a call or get instant access to a recorded training that I've created for you, showing you how to build business God's way, 3 revelations I've had around how we do this, and then sharing our Christian Entrepreneur Club with you and how you can be a part of it. If you like episodes like this and messages like this, wait till you join the Christian Entrepreneur Club and see the content, the messages, and the access and the community that we're going to give you to help you live a life that honors God and be highly successful in what He's called you to do. God bless, guys, and go make it a great day.